Greetings, and you're watching Septum Sin vs. the World. I'm Septum Sin. Every year, or at least twice every year, a magical event happens. We're a wondrous place where normally you get books. They go into a magical sale, where their DVDs are no longer overpriced, going for what most people say, this is the suggested retail so that what they sell it for looks like it's on sale, but they actually charge that $30 a DVD or $50 a season. And this place is called Barnes & Noble. Twice a year, they put all of their Criterion Blu-rays and DVDs on sale. And this results in average to a little bit below average prices for once in this area. And then if you add your Barnes & Noble card, it actually comes off as a real sale. Well, of course, I try and always justify my membership and their discount by participating every year. You've probably seen a few of my pickups in the pickup section, and you will see this also. And what we have here is broadcast news. Now, a lot of times I look at something, I see a cover, I say, ooh, I've got to see that. Other times I look at something, I say, I've known about this, I've heard about it, and I really think that it would be a good time for me to see it. And then there are other times when I'm just like, well, I really need this in my collection. This was the second. It was actually relatively cheap. Most of their DVDs are now much cheaper than their Blu-rays, usually $14 when they would normally go for $30. This is good. I mean, the Blu-rays typically go for $40, which means they're down to $20 on a typical. And again, Criterion does an excellent job providing a crisp, clear picture even on their DVD releases. Wonderful sets of special features, background information. If you want to participate in filmmaking on any form, you need to get a hold of Criterion. Find those movies that you like, look at them, examine them. They even have weird B-movies like House or Robinson Crusoe on Mars. So today we're talking about broadcast news, which was one of those purchases. Again, I'd heard about it. I mean, James L. Brooks is a master in the field, and this is one of his big films. So what we have here are two people, two friends, and they both love the news. They love integrity. They love what the news was to stand for back in those days, back in the days they're growing up, in the 60s and 70s. Where investigative journalism was not yellow journalism, or at least not as much as it is today. And so in the 80s, they both find themselves working for a news station. Both of them have a career trajectory that shows that they are going to go up in the world. And of course, our hero, the main female character of this, finds her love for the dashing, handsome anchorman, which forms an interesting romance / slight comedy, which deals with a lot of the issues of corruption, fake news as you know it today, and just various parts of the TV thing. I almost look at it as a dark version of the Mary Tyler Moore news set. But let's get to the good. The acting. The acting is superb. I mean, you actually see a lot going in this. I mean, William Hurt, Albert Brooks, they are excellent actors. The actress in this, is amazing. Holly Hunter, this was actually one of her earlier films, very well done. I actually have been very supportive of that person's work. I actually had to look over here to remember the name because I'm terrible with names, which makes me a bad movie geek. But I actually will say that the performances were very believable, very good. The scenes between her and her friend are the most poignant, the deepest of all those things. So, what about the plot? Well, the plot of this movie was very complex. It shows a lot of that interaction. You can see the direction and the writing quality that has been, that has been shown and well known throughout this type of filmmaking. And here you can see that complexity. You can feel the hurt, and you can see those moral questions as they're being asked. So what are the bad things? Well, I mean, there's not a lot of action to it, so if you're not an action person, obviously you're not going to like this. But on top of that, cat using me as a springboard. Cats. Kitties, man. But on top of that, a lot of these scenes, you sit there and you tell yourself, why are you doing it? Why are you making that decision? And I am sitting there just as irked as the best friend, seeing her attempt at the relationship with this anchorman. But it does speak to the reality of the times. Because it's hard reality, it's very hard to see this as a comedy. Very hard to laugh at this. But if you like that serious style, it can still be quite funny, especially if you look back on it. A second viewing really does help. So with that, we have a great piece of film work here, and I've got to give that what it's due. So I will give this a 7, 7.5 really, and encourage others to watch it and enjoy it. The more you watch this, the better it gets, and probably if I've seen it a couple more times, it might get up to that 8 category, which is why I give it the 7.5. So in any case, this is Septum Sen. I hope that you like this video. Please click like, and share, and subscribe. Again, we get to 10. Who knows, maybe I'll hit 10 before we get here. But if we get to 10, I will be doing a DVD collection tour. So, we have that to look forward to. Y'all have a nice day.